Health begins with the mind. It's about controlling your senses. If you really understand your senses are driving you all over the place to develop unhealthy habits or behaviors, slow down the overstimulated mind that's in fear or worried. Find mental clarity by grounding yourself. Be extremely mindful of the spaces that you're in and also mindful of the people that are there. So you see right now, technology is really exploding. It's our responsibility to utilize this technology with God in mind and having the intention to serve a higher purpose. We have to understand also our own human and spiritual technology that God granted us. We have the power within us, and we have these incredible features built into us that we need to utilize. So tap into your intuition, tap into your superpowers, refine your energies so you're not so dense and you get to experience all these beautiful, subtle energies and truths of existence. We're in service to the higher power, so live with a pure heart and a loving intention. Connect to your heart and your soul. Share that warmth with the world. It's about walking around and smiling at strangers, acknowledging one another, and creating a sense of love, safety, and connection. We are eternal beings of light, the power of the now, which is the power of being present with what is available to you. That's the most important thing. Love yourself, connect to your organic essence, and build bridges with others. That is the path to the new earth.
Welcome, Nick. Thank you, brother, for being here. Why don't you give a quick intro of who you are, what you do, and why you do it for the listeners to understand who's in front of me.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Miami, and I'm 42 years old. And, I was raised by a very blessed family. Both of my parents were teachers, they were mentors, coaches, guides. So I had a really good foundation, a family foundation, good siblings, good community,
What kind of teachers?
My mother was a school teacher, and then my father was like an ex-Olympian. He was a coach and a mentor for thousands and thousands of kids. So
cool.
So I had amazing parents, and, that created just a foundation within me that really I want to ground in is, family values, community, good, clean activities and stuff like that. We need to rebuild the foundation in America. There's a lot of broken homes. There's a lot of disconnect. So in my family, I was fortunate enough to experience the opposite. I have a lot of friends that have broken homes again, and they grew up in less than ideal situations, and they're amazing people. But I feel like the foundation that I had growing up is really, really important, and that's what will help rebuild. First and foremost, rebuild healthy humans, healthy family values, healthy relationships,
Yeah, and so what are you up to in the world now? Like, how do you serve? Like, what type of work do you do? Tell the listener,
So in life, it all boils down to this, is like, ultimately, we live many different ways, but there's only two ways to live, is either being conscious or unconscious.
Okay.
So
you can alternate though, like you can be kind of like hybrid.
So you're juggling like throughout the day, probably back and forth from being conscious and unconscious. And that's amazing. We have this like polarized experience, So the juggling act of life is like finding balance, the yin and yang, understanding who I am, understanding that I have the power to, as a human being, okay? A lot of people right now are living in despair, you know, they're lacking hope and they're lacking this like insight within them. So my goal in life is to support others that are going through a process of awakening, you know, and there's a lot of people supporting this, but I'm doing it in my own way through yoga. I think plant medicines are also extremely important.
Yeah.
And, you know, what we need to do is create, you know, communities that drive awareness, you know. Even though I grew up in sports and I grew up around these amazing people, teachers and stuff, the truth is I never once heard the word consciousness, awareness, mindfulness, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was around so many top level athletes, Olympians, all these people, and I never heard anything about meditation. It's wild, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And now all of a sudden there's this whole flood of information that's being pushed out into the world.
Yeah.
That's all relating to these subjects. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to be, you know, able to support this movement because that's the most important thing. That's what I feel like was lacking in my upbringing. Even though I said I was incredibly blessed, those things were absent. It's really crazy. And even though, you know, there are a lot of people that don't identify with being spiritual or identify with being, you know, a yogi or whatever, you know, these like characters or the identities that people assume in different communities.
Sure.
But there's amazing people in this world that just are ultra conscious and they're connected to the truth in their heart, you know? So
Let me ask you actually. So, being high, so you have this background in sports and having a lot of body awareness and body health, and that allows you. That's like a foundation for your general awareness of your mind and soul. Do you think you can get there without having a very strong, healthy body? Let's say you maybe a little bit unhealthy, you meditate a lot. Like, is there a path there, or the only path there is through health of your vessel?
well, the thing is, you know, if you just stay at home and you're really introverted and you just spend a lot of time meditating and, you know, being social, just being really introverted, you know, over time, that's going to create an extreme imbalance. You know what I mean? The same way is if I don't spend any time with myself in quietness and stillness, and I'm just totally out there in the world, I have no time to quiet down, relax, chill, do introspection. I'm just totally extroverted and consumed by that world. That's going to create a lot of imbalances. So the balance of life is kind of figuring out where you're at individually, like where you're on, because I know people that are introverted and I know people that are extremely extroverted. So, you know, we need to be aware and be real with where we're at, you know what I mean? So I think developing the awareness of what you need individually is huge. But then a lot of times that awareness doesn't come until we have a relationship with our true self and then with others that are also, you know, connecting to their true self. So that's why it's really important, again, to have community and other people that are space holders that can, you know, help navigate. You know, we have to help each other navigate, you know, so we can't be totally introverted and totally be on our own. We need to be out,
for sure,
be social, discuss, bounce ideas off each other.
Can you tell me, what does health look like for you? What does a healthy, aware, conscious human look like? So people can kind of like understand, oh, am I there? Am I way far off?
I think the biggest problem we see in America right now, we have obesity and chronic disease. So I would say the number one contributing factor to health is mind, you know, because there are universal laws that are very important. So there are laws out, that the government creates, but there are universal laws. And once we start going against universal laws, then we're going against the grain, and that's when illness occurs. So number one is, health begins with your mind. We need to not let our mind attack ourselves. Okay. We need to keep a mind that's, again, aware and conscious. But beyond that mind, a lot of it is just food. It's controlling our senses. I will say that.
Yeah.
Food checks off all the boxes, the taste, the smell, all of it. So what do we do is our senses run wild and we start indulging in things that make us unhealthy, like foods and all these things. People are mainly driven by their senses, sensory pleasures. So those sensory pleasures are causing, if you look at America, what do? They market everything to hit our senses, stimulate us, so we keep wanting those experiences of sensory pleasures.
For sure.
That's what's making us sick, is if you control your senses, then you're able to give yourself what you need. We all need sensory pleasures. We need some taste. We need some smells. We need some touch. We need all of that. But most people are just running around satisfying those sensory needs, and that drives our health down to the ground. That's what I believe.
Right. So there's this primal instinctual part of us that is rooted into, like, the senses are rooted into this primal instinctual part, and that part is not very intelligent. All it wants is food, sex, rest, like primal instinctual things. And humans learn how to hijack those through sugars and fats and all of those things, right? And then now that's how people who understand that can control the masses through overstimulation and giving people what their primal parts want, and so they control their behaviors.
Yeah, exactly. It's all like mind control in the end, It's like people don't really understand, but it's very obvious, what's happening.
Okay, so how would you start? Like, what some advice or practices would you? So let's say someone finds themselves in the state where, like, I can't really fully control my emotions. Like, I'm maybe addicted to X, Y, and Z, and I don't have a way to. I've tried it before, but I slip off to doing that thing again. What practices would you recommend someone implement?
I've suffered with addictions, and I've seen many people. Mostly everyone has addictions. Yeah. Different types. So, managing those things, number one is you have to give yourself grace. I always say, don't beat yourself up. First and foremost, don't think you're a lesser of a person because you have these tendencies to be addicted, or, maybe be strong and then you keep falling back into it. So there's a lot of, like, this energy where, people, they're just ruining themselves. You have to give yourself grace because, when you start awakening to your mistakes that you've done over and over in life, there's like a possibility to even go lower, or there's a possibility to go higher. You know what I mean? So once you start awakening to these, tendencies that we have, whether they're addictions or whatever it is, then we got to give ourselves grace. And then, what I feel like is, addiction is it's so much mind stimulation, so the more it's like wind blowing in our mind that creates this hurricane. Yeah. Right? So if our mind's just blowing around like this, how do we slow it down? We apply the opposite element, which is earth. Because what is essentially happening here on earth is just the play of elements: earth, wind, fire, water, and space. So when people have a lot of stress or anxiety or addictive tendencies, it's an overblown wind element. You know what I mean? So the first thing we need to do is understand Earth is our mother and is here to nurture us and help ground in our energies. So, I know a lot of people that, they have a lot of stress. They have families. They have a lot of things financially they need to take care of. So if they just constantly worry about those things and their whole life is focused to do these types of things, then, there's an extreme imbalance. So again, it's like what I see, what we really need on this earth is people that are grounded. That's how we get grounded on this planet, and then we start to elevate ourselves little by little. The mind is so overly stimulated right now.
Yeah.
So this is the problem, is grounding provides clarity and it provides the foundation to go up. You know what I mean? So we have to start on that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people are ungrounded and they don't really know what is a true soulful desire, because so many people have desires in life, but then those desires are like ungrounded, So once we get grounded and we slow things down, we're like, no, I don't need to do this, and then we get more clear again on what we want and what's important,
What is the definition, your definition of being grounded? How do you know if someone's grounded?
How do I know? It's energy, There's a lot of people, it's the more you clean yourself out, look, everyone's perception is wherever they're at. But, I know at times, like, one time that I came into this studio, I remember being here a few years ago. I've gone through this long purification for like a few months. And then I was sitting in here, literally amazed at all the auras that I was seeing off of every person in here.
Really?
It's insane. I was like, wow, And I was like sober for months, Even I remember you were offering like a chai tea,
Yeah.
So I'm mentioning this is because, there's so many levels of awareness that can come through, So it's our job to get grounded and clean ourselves out. So what does grounding mean? Is doing physical activity, moving, walking, going to the beach, going for a swim, all these things, everything that promotes, grounding is not looking at your phone.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, there's elemental play out here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, we need to get back grounded to earth so we can build, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So are you saying that grounded individual means equals embodied individual? Would you also say that? Embodied by what you're saying, like physical health, movement, you are in your body. A lot of your awareness and attention is on your body because you have to like navigate worlds with your vessel. Like,
yeah, because the thing is people don't understand is you have a natural intelligence to your body that comes alive when you start to balance it in a grounded way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So naturally, your cells will respond to an environment that's peaceful. Also, naturally, my cells will respond to an environment that's agitated, intense. You know what I mean? So ultimately, it's like knowing I need to be in certain environments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For even this, look, it's like I work out outside, barefoot, shirtless.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my friends invite me to the gym. I see how grounded the energy of the gym goers are that are outside and that are swimming and then they're in the sunlight. And then I go into the gym. It's a complete,
right,
different, energetic experience.
Sure. You see a big difference in the level of groundedness, or is that
the overall energy of people? Because you can walk into a room and people, you feel. Again, it depends on you. Okay, a lot of people are so blind and numb they don't really feel the things in others. And I'm like, why are we hanging out with these people? They're dense,
Yeah.
So it's like it's not a judgment. We have to have a discernment. Okay, and it's also getting back to me. We have to understand is like our environment is stronger than our hereditary, like our genes, so if we're just constantly polluting ourselves in a toxic environment, for me it's pretty toxic, to go in these gyms, even though people are like, yeah, I'm exercising, I'm work. No, there's tons of TVs, tons of distortion, people on their phones, all this like vanity and all that stuff. Again, it's not a grounded space energetically.
Yeah.
So, everyone has to develop awareness of, what is the most potent thing. There's certain things that do wonders quickly. Number one is grounding in earth, So
Can you then, so evolution, human evolution, and tool creation. So since day one of human evolution, we've been creating tools for expanding or extending our reach, our capability, our boundary. And digital technology is in a way a natural phenomenon of humans this is one of the stages of us working with certain types of tools. And I also potentially see that digital tools might be, since it's such a new thing, relatively speaking, on evolutionary scale, it's almost like, newborn babies learn the physical reality. They, taste, sand or something. They do things they're probably not good for their physical body, but they're experimenting. They're seeing what works, what doesn't, how reality works. And maybe all of the screens and technology and all of this is very much in line with us evolving, and it's a very needed process for us to know what serves us, what doesn't serve us, and only keep the ones that tools that are serving us.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people will label things as good or bad, but nothing is inherently good or bad. It's just like there's so many ways to utilize things, and if people are not utilizing technology, they're not going to evolve. There's all these theories of evolution. Like the most famous one is probably Darwin's theory of evolution, right?
Sure.
So we came from like apes, right? And then it took millions of years for us to become humans.
Yes.
But are there possibilities of quantum leaps, so how did the ape brain evolve so quickly, and it doubled in size over like 100,000 year period?
Right.
So
there are theories too, how that happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of different theories.
But it's finding mushrooms and things. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a lot of things. So, it's interesting because right now you have in the White House, you have, Trump again and Elon Musk. And, a week ago I heard Elon Musk talking, and they were giving their quarterly, reports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying that this is how technology is going to explode. And he said that there's a path that they've carved out for Tesla with all the tech, which is self-driving taxis, and then all the robots, and then transhumanism. That's the next step. Is just to know, just to see how big it really is it's going to rule our lives. Okay, the way he said it is the next 5 companies behind Tesla, whether it's like Microsoft, Amazon, all these giants, Apple, Tesla is going to be worth more than all of them combined. You know what I mean? So he's basically saying that technology is about to take over. So getting back to it, I think it's our responsibility to use technology, but with God in mind. Okay? Because, God is the ultimate power.
Yeah.
And we can live and serve God, that's exactly what we're here to do in my eyes. I'm not here to self-serve. I'm here to serve God. God created this perfect world for us. So there's a lot of smart people out there. I'm using their technology. I'm using their AI. If I'm not, I'm getting so far behind.
Yeah.
I just got off the phone with this brilliant guy. These guys are building amazing projects that are, helping serve the world, and they're printing money. They just use AI bots,
Yeah.
to
To trade and stuff.
trade,
Yeah.
do sports betting, and they win 100% of the time. And
Right.
they're generating so much money and wealth, and they're bringing a lot of other people. So it's like there's ways right now to make money. I will say this. You guys might think I'm crazy. Just sitting here, we can sit here and make money and do nothing.
Yeah.
There's that possibility in life. So right now, it's me uncovering these things, like just being awakened and knowing the possibility is there. You know how many naysayers I tell them about this technology or this bot or this AI?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, they can't do that. It's a scam or whatever. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the arbitrage opportunities are always, in any time, there's always some kind of arbitrage opportunity, and usually the minority is aware of it and they're utilizing it, and you might be one. And every new cycle, there's a new type of arbitrage with a new wave of technology or new wave of change. They're usually new until it runs out, until too many people know about it and too many people are using that same thing, then the opportunity goes away and up to the next thing. Like you switch to the next arbitrage opportunity.
Yeah, you see how, for example, like the market got shocked a week or two ago because there's these American companies that spent how many billions developing our AI, and then all of a sudden China came out, and they said we got the way better tech, and we only spent 10%. You know what I mean? So, like you said, is like you have already millions of people using Chat GPT and all these other things, and then is it going to be obsolete?
Yeah.
I don't know, but is this, my point being is we have to be aware of these technologies and know what to get into to support us.
Getting back to the groundness or like the embodiment, how do you see the future extrapolating that, the technological evolution and also the need for having a healthy vessel, a healthy body of navigating this world? Do you see some kind of like a symbiosis? Do you see a split between those who pursue just a natural route and just a fully just natural way of doing things, and then there's a subset of people who are doing the what's it called, the
synthetic, artificial, artificial, Yeah, I think there will be both on Earth for a very long time. There'll be a world of duality and world of separation. Even though I feel like right now is the time of awakening and there's an influx of, all this knowledge that's extremely empowering. If you just open your eyes, there is so much for us to move forward.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have a long way to go. Earth is, we have a lot more battles, but I do see, a lot of progress being made the last few years, in the sense of like, you can really, again, empower yourself the way you need to. And, that's why, again, I'll get back to like getting grounded. Grounding is the most important thing, because then you understand what's the most important thing you need to do for yourself, Again, it's like the more we try to think about all the things we need to do, then the answers, they're further away from
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, those that will evolve will understand they need to educate themselves on their own. Okay. Or find someone to help guide them. And then it doesn't matter what walk of life, what industry you're in. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter your financial background. If you understand everything is within you and you have to connect, okay? And then over time you do that over and over and over again. That's the process.
Yeah. So reasoning, how now they have new AI models that able to reason, and it's all just basically taps into like logical thinking and finding out answers through logic. Do you think there will always be the need for intuitive, kind of like grounded knowledge that comes through you but not from you, and it doesn't yet first makes sense, like it doesn't yet make logical sense, but that's the truth that you only later find out, or like, oh shit, like that was
Your intuition, you mean? Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, both is important because there's like a right brain and a left brain. You know what I mean? And there is, again, it's combining the polarities, you know? It's combining the opposite energies that I have to create my center, you know? And it's a tough world out here to find balance, you know?
Yeah.
It's really tough.
Because I wonder, you know, if more and more human cognition and functions that human mind is capable of doing, only human mind is capable of doing, or over time we'll come up with AI systems and artificial brains that can basically do everything that human mind is capable of doing, logically speaking, like whatever your mind can come up logically to an answer. But I think there will still be the need for human mind, because we are tapped into the universal intelligence through intuition.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely need intuition.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, again, a lot of people, they're stuck, you know, in their programming, and they're stuck in the way they've been conditioned, and they're stuck in their intellect. So all those things are the opposite of your intuition, if you understand. You know, so if you're just trying to intellectualize everything and you're trying to analyze everything and just be logic, then you're missing out on a whole nother thing. Your intuition is like your superpower. Your intuition is your superpower. That's feminine energy. You know? So, you know, again, but we need to understand what we need individually. I am a Cancer sign. I am very connected to my feminine. I'm very intuitive, extremely intuitive. The last 3 years, it's insane when I start paying attention to it. You know, so I think that's, for most people, there's, you know, the imbalance of not having the intuition there. And not having, because intuition goes in layers. It's like, there's like gross intuition where it might be like you have a hunch or something that comes to mind. And then it's like you have to refine your intuition. So you know that's actually that.
Right.
But everyone,
clarity,
it's
right?
true, because how many times did you feel something and you did not act on it? And then later on you find out, hey, I should have paid attention to what I already knew. You know, and that's where life gets really exciting. When we start acting on, you know, things that are more subtle. So how do we have to refine, it's like refining our energies, you know, as you refine your energies, then you can experience more subtle things.
That's right.
It's like people that never drink, if they take a sip of mezcal, they're going to get pretty tipsy, you know, because you're clean. But if I'm all dense and numb, I can drink so much. And, you know, so.
Right.
It's like intuition requires a level of purity. It requires a level of just being more neutral minded, you know, less triggered, less anxious, you know. If you're all emotional, if you're all like this, then your intuition, it's so subtle you can't connect to it.
I think throughout the evolution, the conscious, or like the, how would I put it, the world in which, or the world that matters to humans, becomes more subtle and subtle. And what I mean by that is, let's say a few thousand years ago, what really mattered for those humans is building cathedrals, building stone heavy grounded, like really be embodied in like their muscles and carrying stones and rocks and building like things. And one civilization would be kind of like showing off what we can do by what's our capability. So it was very much physical kind of manifestation. And over time, we started manipulating matter at a like atomic scale. You know, like the way we make processors for computers, they're like controlling like atoms by atom, you're building structures by atom. And even the way we interact with technology used to be phones with physical buttons or heavy phones, and then over time they're like just subtle taps onto it. And so I feel like through evolutionary process we are jumping into more subtle layers of existence. And maybe that is the journey. If you like extrapolate that all the way, maybe it is the journey away from the physical world.
Yeah, it's actually, I never thought of it that way, because if the original computers were like dinosaurs and they're big units, and now it's like there's these supercomputers that are really small that can process the amount that a million computers can do.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe it is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, that we can harness something the size of an atom or just a particle, and just make it powerful as a nuclear reactor or something.
That's right. But then even the human, what's important to us, where most of our attention is on these subtle layers. Like now we spend more and more time in the digital domains, and that's a fully subtle layer of reality. We don't have the physical, we can't touch the physical or like the digital world. And I don't know, do you feel like that is the right direction to go into? Like, because you could argue that spending more time in the digital space is not good for you,
Yeah, I think spending more time outdoors is better.
Yeah, right.
And spending, it's just, you can't compare, you can say, oh, look how our ancestors lived. That's kind of obsolete.
Yeah.
But we can take cues on how they used to live, and always remember certain cultures had principles that allowed us to really evolve in a way that's connected. It's just my thing is, all these people that are developing all these technologies, like, what are they creating from? So that's where it gets risky, right? To me, is there's a lot of great people, there's a lot of sinister people in the world, And if you see the amount of drones and all these things, it's like the possibility for everything is huge. I just pray and hope that there's enough good people in the world that are, connected to the will of God, connected to supporting one another. That's what we're here to do, we're all here to thrive and be abundant. There's a solution to everything, it's like, how do we move forward though? Number one is use technology.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. In a conscious way. Yeah.
And use our own technology, because if people don't understand people get so captivated by these devices and these things.
Yeah.
I mean, they're mind blowing, but then they don't even know the features that are God created with this.
Yeah.
The features are unbelievable. We have all these little tricks and all these little buttons on us that, I mean, that really activate our ability to create, because if I'm activated that way, if I'm a brilliant person and I invest in my well-being, and then I'm creating technology with this foundation that's grounded in wellness and connection.
That's right.
Then those are the people I want around me,
100%.
This type of scientists,
That's right.
It's just understanding that, you're never, people, how should I say this? It's just, It's all right. I don't know. I kind of got lost in the sauce over here with this.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. So the intention, I'm all about putting the right intention and use media and technology with intention of expanding your awareness, expanding your mind, and expanding your understanding of life, and not just getting lost in distractions. Like there's a lot of distractions in the world where you were talking about, like we all have senses, and there are kind of like bad players who are just understanding that they can kind of manipulate you into doing what they want you to do by manipulating your senses. And I think it's the same with the digital domain. There's so much distractions and so much kind of like bad players out there that want your attention for malicious intents. And so it's important for conscious communities that are often kind of against technology, arguably, or like understandably, I would say, that they say, oh, let's have less technology. I think that approach is not as effective, because technology is this tsunami that's especially AI now. It's coming. Like there's no way to say we can't. Like you either learn how to swim or you don't, or you're just going to be swelled by the water.
You got to integrate,
and learn how to, especially now, I think it's a lot easier now to interact with technology in a meaningful way through language, through just talking to it. Before, you had to be like a very techie, like code. The only way you could interact with the computer is through code, and very small number of people were able to actually do those types of like communications. But now anyone can talk to the most advanced computer system out there through just talking to it, and we should really be putting all of our like conscious intent into how can we leverage this powerful modality into bringing positive change into the world. It's like this leverage for change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been looking into it, and there's right now I can go online and build a whole army of AI agents for me to work, for my business. There's like, it's crazy. There's like, I can go on right now if I'm smart enough and be like, hey, normally it takes all these workers it takes us 5 workers with this salary. But then I can go online and have all my bots do it and all my AI agents. I mean, why wouldn't we do that?
It's basically more people are now what's the word, enabled to be like impactful leaders who used to have big teams and lots of funding and this and that, but now like anyone can do like major impact on the world through just a computer, and they can tap into all of these resources that are there, just knowing how to use them.
Exactly. That's how we move forward in life, and a lot of people, if they're not, they're gonna get left behind. It's crazy. There's a lot of industries where they might even become obsolete,
Oh, of course. There's so many.
There's so many industries.
Could you share with me a vision that is exciting for you, the vision that you're moving towards for humanity?
The vision, always is through God, God is the Almighty, the Creator. I'm not religious, but I understand that, we have our own free will, we have our own intelligence, and we have our own love. Those 3 things. There's like, we have the ability to create, preserve, and destroy. So my vision for humanity is, to understand we're in service to God, we're in service to the higher power, and live through that. It doesn't matter the industry you live in. All of us can bring in this beautiful energy, and just look, for example, like the last few months, I'm like, let me go out into the street. Like an easy thing to like, how can I make the world a better place for my vision so we come together? Just walk down the street and smile at everyone. You know what I mean? There's simple things. So we need to bring out, like, why walk down the street like a robot? That's the thing is, guys, we have to reconnect to ourselves and express ourselves through our soul. That's the vision for the new earth, is is really finding soulful people to share that expression. Why walk around with a warm heart? It doesn't hurt to smile at people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is hard, but guys, it's so easy to empower people. Just we need to start being warm as much as possible. We need to just share that beautiful energy, these smiles. I've seen so many people transform. You know, it's how can you walk down the street and look at someone and not even give them a wink or a little like this, you know?
Yeah.
It's not, I walk down, look, I'll say this. I live in Miami. There's all these beautiful people walking around, beautiful women. I will experience their beauty with no agenda. You know what I mean? Just my only agenda is to be like, I see you, we're here, we're safe, we're good, you know what I mean? So we need to create that safety within us and have a pure agenda in life. You know, that this is what creates the vision for the earth. Have a pure agenda. Pure heart. What am I doing? I'm not here to manipulate. I'm not here to steal. I'm not here to serve my own needs. There's a lot of this going on in the world. My vision is to start to work through those things. Now we really have the possibility to overcome, you know?
Yeah.
It's all like we get to experience so many ways of life and people doing all these types of things. We have a choice now. What way we want to live, you know, is by being warm, by being loving, and being soulful, and just smile and share that energy with the world. It's very simple. This heals.
For sure. Beautiful, man. Yeah. Man. I think this is also a good place for us to wrap up the conversation. Maybe if you would like in this format, either send people to any resources or any last thoughts, concluding thoughts that you want to share in this format with the listeners. Hopefully there's still people around listening to us.
Yeah, so just to wrap it up, you know, guys, always remember, you know, life is, we're eternal beings, okay? So, you know, it doesn't matter what happened to you in the past. It doesn't matter how tough life has been for you or how much of a challenge or how much of a blessing it is. The power of the now and just being here and being present is the most important thing. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. The most important thing is in the moment to just love yourself, okay? And understand that is the organic essence of who you are, is love. Just being love, being in that space, okay? And just sharing that with the world. That's all I want to, you know, it's very easy, you know? And then it's so many people want to find reasons to disconnect with one another. For me, it's very easy. We're here to build bridges and connect through our organic energy, which is our soul, you know? So,
Amazing.
That's my main message here.
Beautiful.
You know?
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, amazing. Thank you, brother, for sharing your a little bit of yourself, of your visions and your experiences with me, with the listener. And thank you, listener, for sticking around all the way to the end. And I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Yeah.